Hello there, and welcome to Safe Zone Media. Now I know what you're thinking, safety. It's a word that conjures images of hard hats, high-vis jackets, and signs that say, "Don't poke the angry badger." And yes, while not poking angry badgers remains fundamentally sound advice, the concept of safety in our increasingly bizarre world has evolved. It's no longer just about preventing slips, trips, and industrial mishaps. Today, safety is a sprawling, multi-headed hydra encompassing everything from the ones and zeros that make up your company's entire existence, to the mental well-being of an employee working from their spare bedroom, 3 time zones away. It's about climate change turning your supply chain into a game of Russian roulette, and artificial intelligence deciding who gets a loan with all the ethical consideration of a particularly ruthless squirrel. In this very special report, we are going to dive headfirst into the murky, complex, and frankly quite frightening waters of what safety means for business leaders in 2025. We've identified 10 global safety trends that are not just knocking on the door, they've kicked the door down, changed the locks, and are currently redecorating your lobby in shades of existential dread. These aren't just buzzwords to sprinkle into your next shareholder meeting to sound clever. These are fundamental shifts that are actively reshaping the very landscape of business, risk, and responsibility. Ignoring them is like seeing a giant, flashing iceberg ahead sign and telling the band to play a little louder. So grab a pen, or your note-taking app of choice, because what we're about to discuss is absolutely critical. For any leader, manager, or aspiring business mogul watching, understanding these trends isn't just important. It's the difference between navigating the future with a state-of-the-art GPS, and trying to find your way using a damp napkin and the position of the moon. These are the challenges and opportunities that will define success, or spectacular, headline-grabbing failure in the year to come, and trust me, you want to be on the right side of that headline. Let's get into it. Right, let's start with the one that keeps nerdy people up at night and should frankly keep you up too: cybersecurity. In 2025, thinking of cyber threats as just spotty teenagers in hoodies trying to guess your password is like thinking a great white shark is just a grumpy fish. The threats have evolved. We're talking about state-sponsored hacking groups with budgets bigger than some small countries, and artificial intelligence-powered phishing scams so sophisticated they could convince your own mother you've been kidnapped and need her to wire $5,000 in iTunes gift cards. They are targeted, they are relentless, and they see your business's data as a delicious, all-you-can-eat buffet. Protecting your business now means going far beyond just having antivirus software and a firewall. It requires a mindset of zero trust, which is a fancy way of saying trust no one and nothing, a philosophy I've personally applied to pigeons for years. It means multi-factor authentication for everything, continuous employee training to spot the increasingly clever traps, and having an incident response plan that doesn't just consist of unplugging everything and hiding under your desk, because the question is no longer if you will be targeted, but when. And when that moment comes, your preparation is the only thing standing between a minor inconvenience and a full-blown corporate catastrophe. For decades, workplace safety meant preventing physical harm. We put guards on machines, signs on wet floors, and made sure nobody was juggling chainsaws, which, to be fair, is a pretty low bar. But in 2025, the biggest unaddressed hazard in many workplaces is invisible. It's burnout, it's anxiety, it's the crushing stress that grinds people down. Mental health is no longer a soft issue for the HR department to handle with a fruit basket and a subscription to a meditation app. It is a core component of workplace safety, full stop. A mentally exhausted surgeon is a safety risk. A burnout air traffic controller is a safety risk. A deeply depressed forklift operator is a safety risk. And it's not just about extreme cases, it's about creating a culture where it's okay to not be okay, where workloads are manageable, where psychological safety is as prioritized as physical safety, and where leadership actively works to destigmatize mental health struggles. Proactive mental health support, access to therapy, flexible work arrangements, training for managers to spot signs of distress isn't just a nice perk. It's a fundamental risk management strategy, because a workforce that is mentally unwell is less productive, less innovative, and more prone to the kind of human error that leads to very visible, very physical, and very expensive accidents. Remember when a freak weather event was, a freak occurrence? Well, welcome to the new normal. where once-in-a-century floods, fires, and storms seem to be showing up with the regularity of a new Marvel movie. Climate change isn't a distant, abstract problem for future generations to worry about anymore. It is a clear and present danger to business operations right now. It's threatening your physical assets with extreme weather, disrupting your supply chains with droughts and floods, and creating massive uncertainty in the markets you depend on. Building climate resilience is no longer optional, it's essential for survival. This means stress testing your entire operation against climate-related risks. Where are your suppliers located? Are they in a floodplain? Is your data center in a region prone to wildfires? It means diversifying your supply chain so that a single hurricane in the Gulf doesn't halt your entire production line for 6 weeks. It means investing in sustainable infrastructure and yes, actually having a plan for when, not if, a climate disaster impacts your business. Ignoring this is like building a sandcastle and being genuinely surprised when the tide comes in. Artificial intelligence is here, and it's already making decisions for your business, whether you realize it or not. It's deciding who sees your ads, it's screening resumes, it's flagging unusual transactions, and it's optimizing your logistics. And while that sounds wonderfully efficient, it's also honestly kind of terrifying. Because an AI is only as good or as ethical as the data it's trained on and the rules it's given. And if that data is biased, which it almost always is, you can end up with an AI that is, for lack of a better term, a racist, sexist idiot with the power to ruin lives. This is where AI governance and ethics come in. It's not about stopping progress, it's about making sure our new robot helpers don't inadvertently recreate the worst parts of human history. As a leader, you need to be asking hard questions. How does this algorithm make its decisions? Can we explain its logic? Have we tested it for bias? Is there a human in the loop to override it when it inevitably does something stupid? Failing to implement strong AI ethics is a massive safety risk. It can lead to discriminatory practices, enormous legal liabilities, and a complete obliteration of public trust. You are responsible for the decisions your AI makes, even if you don't understand how it made them. In the age of social media, 24-hour news cycles, and citizen journalism, your business is living in a glass house. Every decision, every action, every misstep is under intense scrutiny. And public trust, that fragile, invaluable asset you've spent years building, can be shattered in a single afternoon. One poorly worded tweet, one leaked internal memo, one video of a customer being treated badly can go viral and trigger a PR nightmare that guts your reputation and your stock price. Trust is now a core pillar of business safety. Maintaining it requires radical transparency and unwavering consistency. It means your actions have to match your marketing slogans. You can't run ads about your commitment to the environment while your factory is dumping sludge into a local river. You can't claim to value your employees while union busting behind the scenes. Building and maintaining public trust is an active, daily process. It's about doing the right thing, especially when nobody is watching, because you have to assume that somebody somewhere is always watching. And their smartphone has a really good camera. For a long time, the only question most businesses asked about their supply chain was, is it cheap and is it fast? Answering yes to both was the goal. But now, consumers, investors, and regulators are asking much harder questions. Where did this cobalt come from? Was child labor used to make this t-shirt? Was this forest illegally logged to produce this palm oil? Your supply chain is no longer just a logistical puzzle, it's an ethical minefield, and a single misstep can blow up in your face, causing immense reputational damage and legal trouble. Ethical sourcing and supply chain transparency are now critical components of risk management. It means you are responsible not just for what happens within your own four walls, but for the actions of your suppliers and their suppliers, all the way down the line. This requires rigorous vetting, regular audits, and using technology like blockchain to trace the provenance of your materials. It's more work, yes, it might even be more expensive in the short term. But the risk of being linked to human rights abuses or environmental destruction is so catastrophic that the cost of due diligence is a bargain by comparison. So, the great remote work experiment that was, kind of forced upon us has now become a permanent feature of the business landscape. And while it definitely offers a lot of flexibility, it also, shatters the traditional model of workplace safety. Your workplace just isn't a single controlled environment anymore. Now it's 1,000 different spare bedrooms, kitchen tables, and coffee shops, each with its own unique set of risks. How do you ensure proper ergonomics for someone working from their couch? How do you secure company data on an employee's unsecured home Wi-Fi network? And how do you maintain a cohesive safety culture when your team is scattered across the globe? The answer is that you have to write a whole new safety playbook. This means creating clear protocols for remote work, including guidelines for setting up a safe and ergonomic home office. It means providing the right equipment and IT support to secure data outside the corporate firewall. And crucially, it also means finding new ways to check in on employees to combat the isolation and disconnection that can come with remote work, which ties directly back to mental health safety. You are still responsible for your employees' well-being, even when their commute is just a 10-second walk from their bed to their desk. If data is the new oil, then data privacy regulations are the new environmental protection agencies, only with much bigger fines and honestly a lot less patience. Laws like GDPR in Europe and CCPA in California were just the beginning. Now there's this complex patchwork of privacy legislation spreading across the globe, each with its own specific rules about how you can collect, store, and use customer data. And the penalties for getting it wrong are not just a slap on the wrist, they are potentially company-crippling fines that can run into the hundreds of millions of dollars. For business leaders, this means data privacy can no longer be delegated to the IT department and forgotten about. It has to be a board-level concern. You must understand what data you're collecting, why you're collecting it, and how you're protecting it. You need to have clear, transparent privacy policies that a normal human can actually understand. And you need robust systems in place to handle data access requests and to report breaches when they happen. Treating customer data with anything less than the utmost care is a direct threat to your financial safety and your public trust. A crisis can strike at any time. It could be a data breach, a product recall, a factory accident, or even a CEO scandal. And in that moment of chaos and panic, the first thing to break down is often communication. Conflicting messages, radio silence, or, worst of all, tone-deaf corporate jargon can turn a manageable problem into an unmitigated disaster. Having a robust, pre-planned crisis communication strategy is as vital as having fire extinguishers. You hope you never have to use it, but you'd be an absolute fool not to have one ready. Your plan needs to be clear on who speaks for the company, what the key messages are, and how you will communicate with your three key audiences: your employees, your customers, and the public. It should be built on principles of speed, honesty, and empathy. Acknowledge the problem quickly, be transparent about what you know and what you don't, and show genuine concern for those affected. In a crisis, what you say and how you say it can be the difference between being seen as a responsible organization navigating a tough situation and being seen as a pack of incompetent liars trying to cover their tracks. We've talked about technology, policies, and global forces, but let's end with the most important safety asset you have: your people. You can have the best safety protocols in the world, the most advanced cybersecurity, and the most ethical supply chain audits. But if your employees on the ground aren't trained, engaged, and empowered, your entire safety structure is built on sand. They are the ones who will spot the phishing email, who will notice the faulty machine, who will see the early signs of a teammate struggling, and who will call out unethical behavior. This is why ongoing training and genuine empowerment are the capstone of a modern safety strategy. Training can't be a one-and-done onboarding video that everyone clicks through while checking their phone. It needs to be continuous, relevant, and engaging. And empowerment means creating a culture where every single employee feels they have the permission and the responsibility to raise a safety concern without fear of retaliation. They are your human sensors, your eyes and ears on the ground. Investing in them, trusting them, and listening to them is the single most effective safety investment you can possibly make. So, there you have it. 10 trends that are fundamentally redefining what it means to run a safe, resilient, and successful business. It's a lot, I know. It's complex, it's interconnected, and some of it is, to put it mildly, deeply unsettling. From the digital phantoms threatening your servers to the very real storms threatening your shores, the risks are more diverse and more dangerous than ever before. But here's the crucial takeaway. None of this is insurmountable. Each of these trends represents not just a threat but an opportunity to build a stronger, more ethical and more trusted organization. The leaders who thrive in 2025 and beyond will be the ones who face these challenges head-on. They won't bury their heads in the sand or hope for a return to a simpler time. They will be the ones who see safety not as a cost center or a compliance checkbox, but as a strategic advantage and a core tenet of their leadership. These trends, the ones we've covered today, are the new fundamentals. They are the issues that could very well make or break your success this year and for many years to come. Getting them right is no longer just good practice, it's the price of admission to the future. And to help you stay on top of it all, make sure you subscribe to us here at Safe Zone Media. We post new videos every single week, diving deep into the topics that matter for keeping your business, your people, and your reputation safe in this rapidly changing world. Thank you so much for watching. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay safe.